mainstream shirt? Or is it whatever the intent is? If you're not being true to that intent, then don't, I guess. And I wouldn't. I would say, what's the point then? I'm sullying something that is so precious to me. But you know, earlier I alluded to a personal moral compass. It's your call. It's entirely your call. In this country, I remember the Jaipur Literature Festival last year. I read out from the Constitution what freedom of speech and expression was written, and there's a word reasonable. And so it's so grey that it puts Bombay's dawn to shame.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
So are there any more questions? Oh, there was one at the back. Yeah.
I'd say write about your fears.
Hi, working? Okay, great. Rahul talked about getting rid of the noise, right? He talked about not being hoodwinked. He talked about seeing it through, right? But then again, this bit we all know. I mean, nobody likes being hoodwinked. But how do you actually know if you're being fed junk or if you're being fed the real stuff? Because your source of knowledge is basically media, and that itself is it itself is controlled to some extent. And so how do you know if you're being hoodwinked or if you're not being hoodwinked? So I guess that is precisely the question out here.
Well, I mean, just read everything. Just don't read what you're fed. Read everything. Read Chomsky. You have to search for Chomsky if you have to. And then you can read everything else. I mean, whatever the mainstream media wants to feed you. Look at everything before you decide. I've spent 18 months in Kashmir. My foundation has selected 6 children from Kashmir to put them through school for 15 years in boarding schools and colleges. Kids who are deeply in love with their motherland. That's Kashmir. Kids who will go back. But I'm not even opening my mouth here because it's ridiculous. 18 months is not enough. You need 18 years. So just read, absorb, and form your opinion when you're good and ready. But till then, there's no question of being hoodwinked if you refuse to be hoodwinked. If you just keep your eyes and ears open to everything, listen to all the narratives coming up, and then once you think, yeah, this is everything I've heard, then you can form an opinion. I'm still listening. I'm still absorbing about Kashmir. 18 months is a drop in the ocean, and as far as I'm concerned, I wouldn't dare open my mouth about that land right now.
But I just want to add something to it. I think we as people from the media do have a role to play in this. Because I just want to give 2 examples. A magazine like, say, Playboy or Rolling Stones. I mean, there is so much. I mean, the whole idea of mixing of viewpoints. We all know Playboy by its nude center spreads and Rolling Stones by its top 10 charts. But we don't know that Playboy in each issue carries a very, very long interview, deeply, radical in its ideology, absolutely wonderful, much more progressive than even Howard Zinn's magazine called Progressive. And same with, Rolling Stone. They have lovely essays, but we don't know because we've mixed up all the viewpoints. And we, with our limited attention span, and we are always going to give in to our instincts rather than to our intellect. And with the limited amount of time that we have for our media consumption, we always end up looking at things which are, which are trying to hoodwink us. So I think it is also our duties to not mix up the viewpoints and to relentlessly, create a taste in the market for things which are difficult to read, but still they might be uncomfortable. They might tax you a little bit more, but not to kind of give in to the easy demands of the market. And that's what we've been doing for the last 7 years. The readers are growing, definitely not exponentially, but in a very gradual way. But still, we've got a loyal readership which is growing every day. So one has to be committed to the cause of giving that kind of information relentlessly, and not to cater to a certain taste, but also to create a taste. Yeah, all right. I think, so is just one last question. Do we have time for one last question? Is there any other question?
She says yes.
Oh, okay, there is time for one last question, please. There is no more question, I suppose. All right, so I think there is no more questions. I just want to end with one thing, and one thought is that, as Zizek said, that truth is always partial and accessible to only those who take sides. So I think we all have to take sides, and which brings me to the second dedication. The book is dedicated to Mr. Farooq Sheikh and also to the revolutionary poet Faiz Ahmed Faiz. And, and he has written in his words, this book is also dedicated to the क्लर्कों की अफसरदा जानों के नाम, किर्म खुर्दा दिलों और ज़बानों के नाम, पोस्टमैनों के नाम, तांगे वालों के नाम, रेल वालों के नाम, कारखानों के भूखे जियालों के नाम, पढ़ने वालों के नाम. So these are the narratives that we have selected. So all you readers, I'd ask you to go ahead, and the books are available at the bookstore. So please do buy. Thank you. Yes.
Sorry, I just want to take this opportunity to thank the Kolkata Literary Meet and Tata Steel, and of course, Malvika. But most of all, thank you. This city nourishes my soul in ways that I'm constantly surprised, and it's you. Thank you. I mean, really, you are extraordinary. Thank you.